Hi, you guys. I wanted to come on and to discuss a recent interview with Xscape. Well, the three members, right? I guess they have some show dates coming up, so they're out doing press. But they were, of course, asked about Tasha Scott's interview with Nene, and I believe it was a week or so ago. And of course, she talked about where we left off with the show. I don't think they discussed though. I don't think people are asking her about this money, right? Even though people were saying little stuff about it, as I see in comments, but I don't think anybody's directly asking her about it. However, they asked Tiny and Candy and Tamika about LaTocha saying that she owned the name Xscape. And I remember years ago when that conversation came up years ago, right? That she came up with the name Xscape. I'm speaking of LaTocha. So, yeah, I would imagine she would have some type of ownership over it. But Tiny, in the interview recently, was stating that, and then, of course, Tasha, even in that interview with Nene, she stated that she added her sister on there. So they both own it. So obviously, if Tamika's using it, she can use it. But Tiny was saying that we all own it. We all have the right to use it because it's not just about who go down there and do the paperwork to own the name. She said if we're a part of the group and we're a part of creating the music, I'm not saying what she said verbatim, but I'm just explaining what I think she's saying, okay? This is my opinion, and that's what you get over here, my opinion. And so, and this is all allegedly, let me throw that in there as well. But she was saying that because that happened to her father's group as well, as far as the name, people using the name, and also the Temptations, right? Because I don't, it depends on how old you are. But the Temptations, there was a time when there was like 3 or 4 different Temptations groups out here, right? You didn't know who was who and what was what and what was going on. But several members would break off and create their own groups because I guess they just had a right to the name. And so I guess that's what Tiny is saying because they are a part of the music. As artists, they get to use the name as well. Right. So there's really, I guess, nothing legally that she can do about them using the name. Plus, her sister is a part of this, the Xscape that's doing the shows and stuff. But they're just not inviting her to participate with them in the tour or what have you. But Tasha could create her own Xscape, right? And if I was her, I would do that. If they don't want to let her back on tour and doing the shows and stuff with them, then I would just create my own group. That's me. That's what I would do. But she may not feel comfortable doing that because I'm sure that it will take a lot to find people that you want to work with. But it is an option, right? Let me know what you guys think about that. Do you think Tasha should step out by herself as far as creating another Xscape and then seeing if she can get some dates as well? Or do you think the other 3 should let her back in the group? Well, they're claiming that they never put her out of the group, so I don't know what's what with that, because it feels like they put her out of the group, even though they're trying to say they didn't put her out of the group. You know what I mean? Because if you guys are not allowing her to work, then you guys are not allowing her to work. That's what that means. Is to say to me, we're playing games with words. You guys are not allowing her to work, which means you were putting her out of the group. That's what I'm saying with that. But what do you guys think about what Tiny was saying? And like I said, when she said that, it made me think about the Temptations, how that was a story out here years ago, how they had different temptation groups and people didn't know who they were going to get. And I think another, Ready for the World, I remember reading about them, if you guys remember Ready for the World. They had that same issue where some of the guys were out touring and, it wasn't all of the original members. And you know how we are as fans, people want the original members. They want to see the people that they grew up listening to or the people that they want to hear, right? I don't want you to bring in no new lead singer. I want to hear the person that's actually singing the song, right? And so, I don't know. What do y'all think about stuff like this? Let me know in the comments. And I know they have this issue with Rocky, and she's still with Rocky. I feel like she should be able to leave Rocky at home. And as long as she do that, I think they should be fine and be able to travel together and just, just get back to business. Because I'm pretty sure people still want Tasha's voice. I understand they can sing, but I don't know. I personally Tasha was always my favorite in the group, so maybe I'm just biased in that way. Let me know what y'all think about this whole conversation as far as I don't really know. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know the legal stuff as far as them using a name. But like I said, I do remember other groups having that issue. So I think Tiny is right. It's probably okay for them to use it because they're doing their music, right? I think it would be different if they were taking her group and going out and using her music, but they are singing songs that they are on, right? So I don't know. I think that may have more to do with it. I don't know. Like I said, I know Temptations and a few other groups have had this issue. I think even In Vogue, right? But let me know what y'all think in the comments about stuff like that. And I'll see you guys in the next video.